What's up, creatives? Welcome to the Tiffy Show. Today I'll be giving you the travel guide to Austin, Texas, and let's get to it. In June, I went to Austin, Texas. It was a lot of fun. This is the first time that I have ever been, and I'm going to break down every little detail, you know how I do in these travel videos, and give you the goodies. Where I stayed, what I ate, what I did, I got you. So first things first, I just wanna go over this. Austin, Texas is Texas, and they are conservative. So if you are coming from a liberal state, I want you to know that ahead of time. Austin is up and coming, but they are still different in some way. So I need you to research that ahead of time and make sure that you know all of that before you go. Here are just two instances that you need to be aware of. In Austin, Texas, you cannot buy liquor on Sundays. For some of you, you're like, I don't care, but if you're a boozer like me, this was surprising. If you have plans to do activities on Sunday that you would like booze for, make sure you get that booze on Saturday. Now, you can buy liquor at establishments, restaurant, bars, but that's super expensive. So if you're into pre-gaming like I am, just make sure you buy all of your booze on Saturday. Also, if you like to smoke, and you know what I'm talking about, this is not the place for it. Don't do it. Just, you know what, detox. Be like, I'm going to Austin, Texas, and I'm going to detox my body. So that's what I have to say about that. Let's move on to all of the goodies, all the fun things that I did in Austin, Texas. Weather in Austin, Texas is weird, and people talk about it there. Like, it's a talking point there. Kind of like in Los Angeles, our lack of rain is a talking point, our traffic is a talking point. I went in June, and basically in June, you were getting a mixture of hot and humid and rain showers, like raining down on you, like a shower of rain. If you didn't know what a rain shower was, I just broke it down for you. But so basically what happened when I was in Austin is that it would rain like for 2 seconds and then it would go straight back to being hot and humid. So you were okay in taking a light jacket. You do not need to bring a huge raincoat and your rain boots and sweaters, and it's not cold rain, it's hot, humid rain. In terms of transportation, I flew Delta to Austin, Texas, and that was probably the most lit, amazing flight that I've had in a long time. The flight attendants were amazing. We were there for a bachelorette party. I just want to say that right now. So I'm doing this guide from a bachelorette experience, but we did a lot of fun stuff. And the flight attendants on the flight were amazing. They not partied with us, but they were just really joyous and fun to be around. Once we got to Austin, we took Ubers and Lyfts everywhere. It worked out fine. They have Ubers and Lyfts, they work. Where to stay in Austin, Texas? We stayed at the JW Marriott in downtown Austin. We picked this place because it is walkable to a lot of cool areas. If you want to go to Rainy Street, if you want to go to 6th Street, if you want to go to restaurants, if you want to check out the river, like, it's all right there in walking distance, so that's what we love. So you don't necessarily need to take an Uber and Lyft everywhere if you stay in this area. We love the JW Marriott. It was a very cool hotel. We had a view of the whole city, the river, and we actually got upgraded to a 2-bedroom suite, which is amazing. We had views galore, the rooms were beautiful, and they also have a rooftop pool that we got to hang out at and see views of the city some more. And on top of that, they have a Starbucks inside. There's a Starbucks inside this hotel, so if you need your fix of coffee and you specifically are a Starbucks fiend, they got you. You just go down to, I forgot which level, I think it's 2nd or 3rd level, and you can get your Starbucks coffee. I would definitely stay at JW Marriott if I went back to Austin, but I would also check out the Line Hotel. I didn't know they had a Line Hotel in Austin, but actually was able to walk through it and check it out, and this is a really cute hotel. Definitely up my alley in terms of aesthetics and what they have to offer in terms of amenities, and we got food here, which I will get to later. So this is my second choice. If I ever go back to Austin, I will be staying at the Line Hotel. Where to eat in Austin? So, you know what, considering that I wasn't there a long time, I think I did really good in getting my grub on. I'm about to give you some good food options if you're going to Austin, Texas, from fancy to affordable to greedy. First things first, we went to Three Forks. That was the first restaurant we went to. It is a fancy steakhouse restaurant, so it has the usual steak and delicious sides. I'm a pescatarian, so I don't eat red meat, but it looked delicious. We got lots of different steaks. We got the sides, which was like mac and cheese, cream corn, the usual steakhouse sides. And then I got the crab cakes as an entree, which they were actually really big. So if you are like me and you're a pescatarian, just know that you can get the crab cakes as an entree, and they're actually a really good size for a meal, and just get you some good sides to go with it. So that was the first restaurant we went to. Again, this is a steakhouse. This is a bit fancy, and this is the most expensive place on my list. I went to Torchy's, which was my first introduction to Tex-Mex, and it was delicious. They had shrimp tacos, Beyond Meat tacos, and I got both of those options. And I come from Los Angeles, so I was assuming they were going to be LA-sized tacos, which you might get 2 to 4 LA-sized tacos, okay? I got 2 of these tacos, and I could have got 1. They were huge, but delicious. I also got the queso and the guacamole. My favorite thing here is definitely the queso. I think they're famous for their queso, and that is because I am a huge fan of that cheap soupy cheese. You know what I'm talking about? I think you know what I'm talking about when I say soupy cheese. I like that drippy nacho cheese, and they delivered. So if you go to Torchy's, make sure you get the queso on the side with some chips and enjoy yourself. Voodoo Donuts and Gordo's. Did I go to 2 donut places while I was in Austin, Texas in a short amount of time? Yes, I did. And I'm going to tell you about both of them. So Voodoo Donuts is famous. If you don't know Voodoo Donuts, it's famous, so you can go look it up, but they have like lots of different kind of flavors and crazy donuts. And then Gordo's Donuts is more of a local spot that make their donuts fresh, and it's a bar, kind of like a pub restaurant. You go in, you order your donuts, and then you wait because they're going to make them fresh. Now, if you're going to Gordo's, I highly suggest that any donut that you decide to order, that you actually get the donut holes instead. So every donut on their menu, you can opt to get the donut holes. I find that the donut holes are more balanced. I feel like a foodie. They're more balanced, and the flavor just is more well-rounded. Da Vinci's Pizza. If you go to 6th Street, which we'll get to later, and you get hungry, definitely visit Da Vinci's Pizza. It's pizza. It's, you know, how do you gonna hate on pizza? They're very big slices. 1 piece of pizza is more than enough. If you're drunk, soak up that booze, get you a slice of pizza. If you just wanna run away from 6th Street because 6th Street is crazy, then run into Da Vinci's Pizza and get you a slice, okay? Veracruz All Natural. This place was delicious. It's great if you want something a little bit healthier. They have fresh juices, smoothies, then they have tacos. This was the restaurant that was inside the Line Hotel, so there was a bit of a line and there is a bit of a wait. If you go to Veracruz, definitely check out the Poblanos tacos, very delicious, but they have multiple tacos on the wall and juices. It just is like a good vibe, good place. Terry's Barbecue. I know you were thinking you went to Texas and didn't get barbecue, but ha ha ha, we did. And we went to Terry's, which is a famous, popular joint. Now, we did cheat a little bit on the dine-in experience. We were drunk slash hungover slash we just didn't feel like the wait that Terry's had. So this is a good hack if you want to try Terry's Barbecue, but you don't want to wait for the dine-in experience. You can actually order ahead of time, go pick it up, and then take it, have a picnic, eat it in a park, eat it in your hotel room, which was what we did, and just enjoy yourself like that. So you can get that taste of barbecue without standing in line for Terry's, because it is a very popular place. Fun things to do in Austin, did a lot, gonna hit you in the face with all the fun things we did. First things first, nightlife. If you're staying in downtown Austin like I was, then you can walk to Rainey Street and 6th Street. Let's go over Rainey Street first. I loved Rainey Street. It was more my vibe. It was a great street to walk on and get a drink, talk to people, dance. You could do all of that. There was no cover. Thank you so much for no cover at any place, but I guess that's just Austin. And it was just a fun vibe. The cool thing about Rainey Street is it's actually a whole bunch of old houses that they turned into bars, and mostly bars and lounges, kind of like club atmosphere, but mostly like bars. So that's a really cool scene and look. 6th Street. There are 2 sides to 6th Street. Research it before you go, because I already forgot which side is which, but one side is a little bit more chill, it's a little bit more relaxed, and then the other side is College Party Town. Now, the College Party Town is what people are usually talking about when they mention 6th Street. It is a college scene. I'm talking like, hey, 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 I wasn't ready for you party scene. So if you're gonna check it out, definitely check it out. Be in a group, be safe, watch a drink, you know, all that good stuff. If you get where you're just tired of 6th Street, then you can go to Voodoo Donuts, or you can go to Da Vinci's Pizza and get you a slice. So you don't have to stay there, but you can definitely check it out, look at it, take a peep, and then go to Rainy Street if it's not your vibe. Woo. We're about to get on boats out there, and it actually got sunny. It was raining, and it's all sunny now. Yay! Yeah. When I see swings, I have to swing because I used to love swinging. And like, look at the view while you're swinging. Yes, yes. Boating on Devil's Cove. We rented a boat while we were there, and I highly suggest it. We rented a boat that had a slide. There were 11 of us. The cost was about $1,500. We all split it, but you can have a group bigger than ours and split it even more. So it is a, affordable option if you have a lot of friends. I suggest renting a boat that has a slide. Just adds a little extra to your fun. When you are boating, they are going to take you out, and you could be solo. You could be partying with your friends solo, or you can go more into the Devil's Cove, and the captain will ask other boats, if you desire, to tie up with them. And it's a lot of pressure. It's like boat dating. It just makes the party bigger. If you are a group of extroverted people that like to get your party on, this is a great way to meet people. Also though, if you're not sure but you want to experience that because you're traveling and you want that experience, just know you can always tell your captain like, hey, can you cut the rope? Don't want to be joined with these people anymore. But it's super fun. You basically hang out on the boat, you make friends, you drink, you go down the slide, you hang out in the water. It's just a great day. And then when the day is over, you pack up and the boat takes you all the way back to wherever you boarded on it. What's the boarding place called? The dock. They take you to the dock. How do you know a girl is from LA? All of that just now. But they take you to the dock and it's a great day. One of my favorite highlights of this whole trip. Another thing is the river float. We did the river floating down the Como River. I don't know if I said that right, but that's what we did. We did it through the company Texas State Tubes. And basically, if you're not like us, you can order this ahead of time and they will pick you up and drop you off. But we did this super last minute. So we actually ended up taking a Uber to the spot where you pick out your tubes and doing it that way. So you can do it that way. It was about $60 per person and it was worth it. But I just wanna give you some quick tips so that you're prepared for this. When you go, make sure that you ask the person that works there what the best tubes are. I promise you not all tubes are made the same. Where I was, I believe it was the green and orange tubes were the best and the pink ones were trash. And also make sure it's firm to the touch and that you have a cup holder. You're going to thank me later that you have those two things. If you have a drink later, you're just gonna be happy to have a cup holder in your tube. I would highly suggest, because I didn't, that you tie up with someone else. They told us, oh, you're new at this, don't tie up with anyone, do it by yourself, but it can get pretty isolated if you don't tie up with someone. And what I mean by that is there's a lot of people on the river and you are going to be bumping into people and you're going to get split up from your group and you might just be flowing down the river by yourself. So it would be nice, I think, looking back, to just have one other person with me during that time so that I just had someone with me. Make sure that you have something protecting your iPhone. Get one of those waterproof cases off of Amazon, get a bag, something, because you will get wet. Also, hack, we got a cooler that was tied onto one of the tubes, and in that cooler we put our fanny packs and clothes and things that we didn't want to get as wet. This river float is 3 to 4 hours. There is no making this shorter. I just want to let you know. If you go into this thinking, you know what, I'll try the river float, I'll do it for like an hour and a half and then we'll come home. No. Also, I suggest having water shoes. Maybe I'll put this down in the link below. I'll link some of this stuff down below because this is just good travel stuff for you to have. I didn't know this for the river float, so I'm letting you guys know because I researched it and no one really had an answer. Yes, you can take an Uber there and you can take an Uber or Lyft back home. What you're going to want to do when you end the river float, there's going to be buses, like school buses, that will take you back to the main parking lot. Get on the bus. The bus is free. And then the school bus will take you to the original parking spot where you got your tube in the first place. Once you're in that parking spot, you can order an Uber or a Lyft and they will come pick you up. Make sure that you have both of them downloaded on your phone in case one of them is tripping, because one wasn't working as well as the other for some people when I was there. So just have both downloaded. Lastly, Lady Bird River. We were walking distance from our hotel to Lady Bird River, so we were able to walk over to it. And they actually have water sports and fun things that they're doing on that river too, and we could take a look at it. I actually think that this is also the bridge that we were standing on, is the bridge that the bats possibly come out at night. So basically, sunset and sunrise, all of these bats leave and come to this bridge, and you can check it out if you want to. That was my trip to Austin, Texas. As you can see, I did a lot and I gave you a lot of goodies. And my favorite part of the trip, hands down, was definitely a tie between the boat ride to Devil's Cove and the tubing, or the river float. Those were both my favorite, and if I went back, I would do both of those again, or one of those. I don't know which one, it just depends. But if you visit Austin, I highly suggest you do one of those activities. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure that you share, like, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know if you've ever been to Austin, Texas, and anything that I missed, and I will see you next time. Stay creative.